There we go. So let's continue now with the next portfolio review. This is our good friend Alex Martel, which we've already worked with as well a couple of months ago. It's always fun to see you guys, what's the word, to see you guys showcase like more improvements on your stuff. So this is Pimlico61X. Alex Martel says, all the weaker jobs will be delivered from some complex large projects like the tank will follow. On a note of other posts, you have once said that my rifle project being 30k threes as a hero asset is on the heavier side of a 3 count. I've recently been told that 10k for a scope in a first-person shooter is absolutely a norm, since it's so close to a camera. How a 30k for a rifle is heavy then? Or I was misinformed and 10k for a scope is insanity in a first-person game. Let's take a look. What the hell is this? Okay. That's the example that you were showing. Okay, let's take a look. Nice, yeah. So you're doing more of this stuff right here. Nice, yeah. This looks good, man. Again, careful with the metal edgeware. We've mentioned this before. Metal edgeware everywhere is not the greatest thing here. And for this one, yeah, a little bit of variation of colors. It's great. Wow, really interesting shapes, to be honest. Interesting. Yeah, you actually managed to optimize this quite a bit. This is great, man. I'm not a huge fan of this like modern futuristic looks, to be honest, but this looks fine. And the modeling, I love this assembling like process that you did right here. The next thing that you could do is just show if you could rig it. Well, not rig it, but if you can find someone who can rig it and showcase it in movement, that would be pretty cool. That one's a good one. Yeah, as I mentioned, like there's a couple of like elements. I remember like this was one of the other shorts that got a little bit viral because I mentioned that I was not happy with the level of detail and your quality on this one right here, and people were like, "Oh, but it's fine." Yeah, it's fine. But if you see Alex's works, he's so much better than some of the other ones that this one feels pale in comparison, right? So that was my main point. Unfortunately, in shorts, sometimes it's difficult to do that, to show all the full context, right? Now, what do I mean by this one? Talking about context again. Yes, you're right. Like technically speaking, this thing right here, when I mentioned that it was 30k, and that it could be optimized a little bit further, I think I probably meant that there were some pieces or some areas that could be optimized a little bit more. Let me take a look here real quick. Yeah, like this right here, like the straps. So if I take a look at the straps feel very dense compared to the rest of the element. So I could definitely, similar to what I mentioned before or earlier today, we can definitely remove a couple of like edges, every other edge, for instance, and you're gonna get pretty much the exact same result with half of the poly counts for those elements. But you're right, like nowadays with like modern games, having something like this is perfectly fine. I don't usually work with this high of a poly for my elements because, as you guys know, I do a lot of like VR stuff. So it definitely depends on the project, but this is normal. Again, for like a Battlefield game or for like a Call of Duty game, this could be like perfectly normal. But not every project will be like this, and it is important, I would say, especially as a game artist, to know how to do very like optimized assets, because if you know how to do very low optimized assets, then it's very easy to increase the poly count if you need to. And sometimes a lot of people are not used to going all that low, and they struggle with that when they're put to the test. So same for this ones right here, like all of these bevels right here, you don't need all of those bevels. Like they're not changing the silhouette, so we can definitely remove some of those bevels and optimize the surface. So it's not that you cannot have 50k or 100k for a gun. It's perfectly fine if you do. My point is, if you need to optimize, this can be optimized a little bit further. Ask your lead, ask your project manager, ask your client what they need for their specific projects. If you're fine with this, then that's it. I did a project, I can't show it just yet, but I did an environment project this year, and I was surprised because the client was like, I don't care about optimization. You can go as high as you want in polycount. And I think the final like asset, it's like a big building that they use for the game. It was like 4.5 million polygons for the whole thing. Of course, there's a lot of props and things involved with it, but it's like, oh, you don't care about polys? Let's go, man. Let's freaking go. And I'm just gonna like push it to as high of a situation as I can, right? So just be mindful about that. Like it's not that there's the hard set rule of this is the amount of poly count that this element should have. No, every project is different. Every pipeline is a little bit different. Just ask your lead. Okay. Well, let's go to the next one. Other than that, man, just keep doing, keep going, because you got some cool stuff. Are you working already? I don't know if you mentioned that on your post, but start applying. Like you definitely have all you need to start applying, to be honest.